Welcome back to complete our discussion talking about dreams. Joining me again, Dr. Ivy Norris, Vice President with the School of Metaphysics. I got it this time. Now I want to jump in on this segment and look at some dreams specifically, especially common kinds of dreams. I want to start with nightmares. As we mentioned at the end of the last segment, children often have nightmares.
True.
So tell me about nightmares and some of the common ones and what could they possibly mean?
Okay. Dreams give us, again, feedback about our state of thinking, what's going on inside of us. And oftentimes what happens is we have a reoccurring theme in dreams. And what happens if we aren't able to understand or can't listen to that for some reason, then the volume is turned up a little bit more. Our subconscious mind really wants to get this point across to us. Okay. And so it'll do whatever it can to get our attention. And so it'll stimulate an emotional response, which is what happens when we have nightmares. And so,
okay, so that emotional response could be when the child or even an adult wakes up screaming or sweating profusely or
scared.
The rapid heart rate or
Right.
breathing or just panic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we've had countless people over the years. We have a website called dreamschool.org,
Okay.
and the goal of that is to interpret a dream for every man, woman, and child on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had so many different nightmares come through over the years, certainly, because it's very common. And once people understand what the dream is communicating, the nightmares stop.
Okay, now help me understand, and viewers as well, what might define a nightmare from a dream? For instance, sometimes, and you tell me what this dream means, there's a friend of mine who wondered about dreaming about aliens. Mm-hmm. And always being in a battle with these aliens.
Okay.
In the end, that person would always win.
Okay.
However, the dream kept recurring. So it seems like, in my mindset, if you won the battle, why do you keep fighting it? But so
Right.
what is that, a nightmare type of dream, or is that just a dream? I mean, what distinguishes? Because that's waking up trying to fight and mm-hmm. you really engaged in a battle here. Tell me about, is that a nightmare?
Well, nightmares usually cause people to feel fear and are scared. And when
Okay.
they wake up, they're riveted by the dream with a reaction, emotional reaction of sorts. It sounds like in that dream, the battle just indicates an inner turmoil that's going on, inner battle that's going on. And the aliens would represent unknown parts of the self. And so until the person has understanding of what the dream is communicating, the dream will reoccur.
Okay, and it can reoccur for years and years mm-hmm. and years.
Often does in some people's cases.
Okay, let me ask you about another dream that a lot of people often have, the falling dream.
Right.
Where you are falling, but you wake up right before you hit the bottom, and this dream
Right.
keeps occurring. What could be happening there?
That's basically what's happening, is simply the person is waking up. We talked about the inner levels of consciousness. Mm-hmm. When we go to sleep, we move deeper into the inner levels of consciousness. And we're waking up, we again move through on out into the physical,
okay.
through those inner levels of consciousness. I think that people, when they're aware of falling, they're more aware of being a soul rather than a physical body. That's what I've found with people. And
okay.
It is an old wives' tale that if you hit the bottom, you'll have a heart attack or something like that. That's
okay.
That's not true.
So that could just be, like you said, the process of waking up.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this other dream another friend told me about, wanting to know? Always dreamt that her teeth were being pulled out. She was
Right.
always losing her teeth and just kept dreaming that over and over and over and over.
That is a very common dream, and we have a little book called The 25 Most Commonly Asked Questions About Dreams, and that's in it. Food in a dream represents knowledge, and teeth are tools to break down food, so they represent tools to break down knowledge. So one of two things I see happens in that case. One, there's a change in the way that the person is receiving knowledge, or two, they're needing to be more present in their life so they can really receive and assimilate the knowledge that is available to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me ask you about this dream, and I will confess this is one that I used to have, but haven't had it in a number of years, but it used to be very recurring. Okay. I always dreamt that I never finished high school. And as a result, I would always wake up thinking anything else I've accomplished, somewhere someone's going to start taking it back. But then I knew I finished high school.
Right.
But I always felt I never finished high school. And,
Okay.
Periodically I might go check to make sure I did finish high school.
Right.
But this dream just kept occurring and occurring, and then it finally, after many years, stopped.
Right. Well,
don't tell me I'm insane, doctor.
No, not at all. Then a lot of us would be insane.
Yes.
It's a pretty common dream to be in school. School represents a place of learning. The fact that you didn't think that you completed that school, it has to do with completing your learning. So there was some way at that time that you felt incomplete and fully learning what it is that you were pursuing at that time. A lot of times completion is a function of concentration. So the more people build the essential life skill that we teach of concentration, they learn how to complete what it is that they begin.
Okay.
So obviously you did end up completing
lots of degrees, but
right.
kept having the feeling that I just never completed the high school one.
Right. And so it's more of learning about self than it is a physical, course of study. So it's some type of learning about self that you ended up completing.
Some inner exploration that I needed
Yeah.
to do and complete and
Right.
come to terms with.
Yes.
I think I got there because obviously the dream stopped.
That's right.
So is that what happens with dreams? When we do finally work out whatever that dream is trying to tell us, that's when it stops?
When our consciousness changes, our dreams change. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, okay, good job.
Yeah, good job.
Now, let me ask this question in terms of looking at dreams. You talked about pictures in dreams. Many times, like children that suffer from abuse, sometimes the only way they can express that is through a picture as well as nightmares and things such as that. And you may say, well, can you draw what you dreamt? Or can you give us, how would pictures help us? Or can we tell some things through a picture?
Oh, definitely. It's so valuable to establish a pattern of helping children to interpret their dreams first thing in the morning. I think drawing them is a very good idea. We often put out a bunch of butcher paper for kids to come and draw their dreams, and then we teach their parents how to interpret those dreams so they know what's going on inside of their child. Oftentimes we don't understand why they're experiencing what they're experiencing, and dreams are a remarkable way to help them to heal, help them to fulfill their potential, help them to understand.
Now, how important is it for us to validate? Because sometimes with children, we don't tend to validate what they're saying. We tend to try to convince them that it's really something different.
Right, right. Sometimes kids will come to us and say, I had a bad dream, and it's pretty common and compassionate for the parent to say, oh, honey, it's just a dream.
Exactly.
And we can say it was a dream and help them to understand why the dream is happening, and then that helps them to have more pleasant dreams when they have greater understanding.
Okay, and I like that, working through whatever it is, and that the dream is going to keep turning the volume up until we can respond to what that need really is.
Yes.
And before I leave really quickly, I want to mention these two books that you brought here.
Okay.
Show them really quickly. The Dreamer's Dictionary and Lucid Dreaming. And these are available, of course, at the School of Metaphysics.
Yes.
And I found the one for the dictionary to be very fascinating because you can look up key words of things that you have seen in your dream or experienced and get some meaning of what that, is all about.
Right. And
very helpful.
yes.
Thank you so much. I'll have to have you back because there's much more dreams that I didn't even get to talk about due to time. Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's our show. For Health Alert, I'm Pam Butler. I'd love to hear your questions or suggestions or comments for future shows. Please write me at Health Alert Education Service Center, 3027 South New Haven, Tulsa 74114. Or if you're on the email trail, please email me at healthalert@tulsaschools.org. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And check out the School of Metaphysics and understand your dreams so that you can continue to prosper and to get exactly where you're trying to go. Take care. This program would not be possible without the support of OU Physicians in Tulsa.